Right then, before we begin, we just got a few things to go through. First of all, it's a shame that my microphone, or the new one, arrived last night. It's still currently, well, partly it's in the box, and the other part is currently being screwed together, but I'd just like to let you all know that my blue microphone picture here has now arrived, and I will be putting the ringer and everything around it later today, so by the end of the week, we will have a higher quality of microphone, so good on that. My second monitor also arrived yesterday, so I'm going to be, getting the plates on the wall and screwing that to the wall to do my double screen thing, so by next week we should have a higher standard of recording. But that being said, let's just move on. So, if you have not guessed by the title of this video, just yesterday I got a favourite on one of my tweets, that is that I completed Half Genie Hero, and I said that I had all the achievements, and of course, for all of you regular viewers, I did give it second place in my 2015 Games of the Year, not only because I like the Shantae series, but because it's a fantastic game, and because it's a fantastic game and I like the Shantae series. WayForward not only liked the video, but they also, or liked the tweet I should say, well they also gave me a demo copy of Half Genie Hero. So we're going to do a Let's Look At of Half Genie Hero, and that will all be explained in the video that you're about to watch. This was just the pre-ramble to let you know that I have got a new microphone and my second monitor, and obviously the picture of the lovely blue microphone is on screen for you now. So this was just a pre-ramble to let you know that there is going to be a better mic by the end of this week, start next week, and we should get no crackling if any crackling does happen to appear in this video or in this pre-ramble. But that being said, let me switch over to the main video and enjoy the show. Hello everybody, and welcome to a rather special Let's Look At Shantae Half Genie Hero, the demo version. For all my regular viewers, you'll know that I am currently doing a Shantae and the Pirate's Curse Let's Play, and constantly spout my positivity over the Shantae series, to the point where I give it my second place in the top 5 and bottom 5 of 2015. Not only because I love the series, but it is mechanically a pretty solid game. But now that love has got me all of the achievements on Steam, at which I tweeted WayForward saying that I've got all of the achievements for Pirate's Curse, and I found it a very enjoyable game and hope Half Genie Hero is just as good. To which the response was a favourite of the tweet, and a sending of the first build of the Half Genie Hero demo to do a Let's Look At of. Seems it's now 2016 and the game is coming out next month. So hopefully they will be pleased with this. I mean, I am certainly pleased with what I played so far. And hopefully I will get a review copy for the final build, as these particular builds are supposed to be for backers only of the Half Genie Hero Kickstarter, which I did unfortunately miss out on. So it's not the second iteration of the builds, just to make the backers still feel special, and to let them know that they're not just giving out the demos to every Tom, Dick and Harry. But it's okay, because I have watched a second version of the build, and the differences are mainly tertiary, and if there is any differences, we will be going through them. But anyway, let's dive right into the actual Let's Look At of Shantae Half Genie Hero demo. Okay then, so here we go with the Half Genie Hero demo actually in game now. As you can see, I've got press A, which is an Xbox controller, because this is controller compatible, and we will come back to that in a minute. We're just going to go over all of the minor things. I have to say from the title screen here that I do like that cloud rotating thing in the background. Shows off the water effect quite nicely. But the main little things, we've got our volume, our screen mode, and our resolution, and of course, our keyboard configuration, all very standard stuff. As for the controller itself, it says like controller guide there, and that's great because it's controller compatible, which is always a fantastic thing when a PC game is controller compatible. I haven't found a way to rebind the controller, not that you really need to, the buttons are in the correct places, but maybe that's going to be in the final build. But for now, let's just dive right into the first level and pay attention to the little monkey on the loading screen, as I want to come back to that. Anyway, as for our first impressions here, I have to say it does look very beautiful, with the graphical style being reminiscent of Wario Land Shake It, or Rayman 1 for the PlayStation 1 in my personal opinion, with all of the characters and foreground objects being hand-drawn, and then having this beautiful vista hand-painted in the background. So I'll give you a comparison right now, and I'd also just like to pause the video here and do a half and half screen to show you one of the major changes that has happened in the second build, which is for the Kickstarter backers only, of course. So, the change that has occurred is, as you can see here, this one stalactite acts as now a doorway. So when you walk through it in the new build, it has this screen transition, if you like, with a bit of scrolling. And on my version, as you can see, the first build, it's just a solid, straight-through walk. And I understand why they've done this, as Shantae does need checkpoints, and I guess that this screen transition now activates as a checkpoint, because having to go through the entire stage in one shot on the later levels might be a bad idea. But if you now get a checkpoint at that point there where it's generated, then that will be great. So I understand why it's been done, but it does need to be a little bit smoother. I mean, as you can tell, the animation on the second build on Shantae and the enemies themselves are a lot smoother. So I'm sure that by the final build and the actual full release, they will have smoothed out any graphical lag or animation lag that they may have stored in the back. But anyway, let's get back into the main review so that we can talk about the graphics some more, as I wasn't quite done, but I just wanted to show you that one change that has occurred in the second version. Okay, so here we are back in game with the music this time, which we'll get to in a moment. But yes, as I said, the graphics to me feel a lot like Rayman 1, with Shantae, the enemies and the objects in the foreground, all hand-drawn, looking very lovely, with this beautiful painted vista in the background, which really gives it this really nice feel, with all of like the objects, like the Shantae and the enemies herself, popping out. It's all nice and pushed out into the foreground so that you can tell like what's a platform to jump on and what is activatable, like switches and platforms, etc, etc, like the moving ones. So I'm really enjoying this visual style. I mean, when they said it was going to be hand-drawn, I'll admit, going from the pixel art of Pirate's Curse and Risky's Revenge to Shantae being hand-drawn now did give me a little bit of a pause for thought, as I was like, well, you did this with DuckTales Remastered, and I'll be honest, I don't particularly like the remastered version of DuckTales. I thought it was one of the lesser games by Way Forward, and considering they boasted that this was going to be the same art style, I had my concerns, but from playing this pre-release build, I can tell that those concerns have indeed been laid to rest. So good job there, Way Forward. You laid my fears to rest, and of course you have indeed made it all look very pretty, and I can't wait to actually see the full thing with all of the beautiful effects like the dancing effect, which we will move on to in a moment. But first, now that we've got the music playing, let's move on to the music, and in fact I'll also now drop Rayman from the side of your screen so that you can see the full Shantae experience. The music itself is spot on as always. Way Forward give you always a great show with oh no, I'm going to get this wrong, isn't it? Is it Lloyd or Jake Kaufman? I think it's Jake Kaufman, because I know another Kaufman who is called Lloyd, and I want to say Lloyd, but I'm pretty sure it's Jake. But Jake Kaufman always does a fantastic job with all of the music in all of Way Forward's games, like Pirate's Curse, and of course this iteration of Shantae Half Genie Hero. So we're going to be looking forward to some great tracks, obviously, in this demo. There are 3 tracks in particular, which is the Mermaid Waterfall playing for you now, the desert level that we'll get into, and the slide level, which we'll get into. All 3 tracks are pretty fantastic and have taken on a slightly new style. This time they are keeping, obviously, the Indian belly dancer theme, but they have added in a bit of nightcore techno music, if you will, into the mix. Like, I will let this play on a higher volume for a moment so you can hear it, but then I'll also switch over to a track called the Neo Burning Town, which is the new version of Burning Town, which you'll be able to hear the higher, you know, like nightcore beats, if you will. So they've gone for a little bit of a remixy vibe in Half Genie Hero. So I'm going to shut up for a moment and let you hear the remixy nightcore-y type thing. Some tracks, like the main theme Dance Through Danger, even having vocals. Song there being performed by Cristina V, who definitely deserves your support, so I have left her name on the video so that you can go and check out her YouTube channel again to show your support, and also there will be a link to that particular video in the description below, just in case you did enjoy the song and you want to use your multitude of programs to acquire the song for yourself. But anyway, let's move back into the gameplay and onto our second demo level, as that level was pretty much over, so let's hop back over into that. Okay, so here we go with the desert. Pay attention to the crab on the loading screen, as that is what we're going to talk about right now, which is the transformations. So in the last level, we had the monkey on the loading screen, and we could transform into the monkey. And in this desert level, we have the crab on the loading screen, and as I will show you momentarily, let me kill this guy, we can transform into a crab. So I'm just wondering, let me turn into it to prove my point. Oh, there we go. So there's the crab transformation. So I'm wondering if this loading screen sets the stage for you. So, for example, like, you have the crab on the loading screen, and now we're going to be able to turn into a crab for the duration of this level. I'm interested to know whether that's going to stay for the final product, or if that's likely to change. Like, in the final product, is it going to be whatever animal you see on the loading screen is the animal you get for that entire level, or will it swap from a room-to-room basis, or is this literally just for the purposes of the demo, and, you know, it's like a little preview of the animal you're going to get, whereas in the final version, you'll be able to swap between all your transformations. So say, like, in the final level, where you're obviously going to go through all your transformations, like, there might be one room, for example, that requires both the monkey, the crab, and then maybe like a flying transformation. So it's like you'd have to run through all three, but obviously we've only got one here. So I'm just wondering if the loading screen transformation thing is going to be where you can be like, oh, well, this is the transformation we're getting for the level, or if it's strictly for the purposes of the demo, and we're going to be able to swap between the transformations, and we're going to have access to all of them on every level. So that's going to be interesting to see. I do notice that it certainly doesn't take magic like in the Game Boy games to transform. Like, it seems to be free, and does of course seem to last forever, as seen there. Again though, this is simply a demo build, and a magic meter might be added back later on. Of course, we do have to remember Shantae did get all of her powers back via unconventional means in the last episode, so maybe she has become such a powerful genie, or half genie, that she no longer has a magic meter and she can transform at will like a real genie. But we will find that out in the final build. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of interesting trivia there on the loading screen, showing us like the animal that we're going to get, or as you will see in the next level, a preview of what's going to happen, because the next demo level, and our final demo level, does not have a transformation, but it does have a loading icon which is representative of the level. So it'll be interesting to see how that loading screen does come into play. And as you're also seeing from this desert level, we are going to have a multitude of game mechanics and a variety of game mechanics across every level. Like this level, it is sand that blows you back, and from like the best of my knowledge, you cannot like deflect it in any way. Like, I'm standing behind that block, but I'm still getting pushed back like the block doesn't exist. So, to the best of my knowledge, there is not a way. I tried to get that heart, that was foolish of me. But to the best of my knowledge, there is not a way to not get pushed back, if you understand me there. But the desert level is fairly short. We're already coming quite close to the end of the desert level, and you can kill these pokies, or I'm going to call them pokies because that's what they kind of are. You know, they rise out of the ground, and every time you knock a segment out, they get smaller and smaller. But yeah, we're pretty much at the end of this desert level. The desert level rather short, but again, what do you expect from a 3-level demo when the whole game is going to be coming out soon? It's just like, this is a taster to get you ready for what's coming, or, you know, for the privileged few that do have the demo, i.e. some reviewers like myself and the backers, of course, who have a more up-to-date version. It's a preview of what to expect, and I think it's done a good job of previewing what it needs to preview. Obviously, it teaches us how to transform, it shows the game off very nicely and the mechanics, and for all of you, the viewers that don't have access to something like this, it still shows off like, this is how it looks, this is how it plays, and it does its job of advertising correctly. And I will say, you know, from the person that is pressing the buttons on the controller, that it does play nicely and looks and feels very nice. Like, much like in Half Genie Hero, Shantae has the right amount of weight to her. Like, you know, you can tell when she's, I mean, this wind is a little bit, needs a bit of tweaking. Like, she feels like she's just a feather here and doesn't have any weight. But in terms of all of her other movements, you know, when I'm running, I feel the weight of her running. When I'm jumping, she feels like she has the correct weight in a jump. Like, I expect her to fall or start falling at the point she starts falling. I expect her to jump as high as she is jumping. Like, Shantae definitely has the right amount of weight to her, so it feels almost exactly, minus the powers of course, it feels almost exactly like Pirate's Curse. So That's fantastic, and I believe this is the end of the level, so I'm going to go into like the other aspects which I have not seen in this demo or the second build, and what I expect for the final release. So I'm just gonna double check that this is the end of the level here. I believe so. Yeah, there's the flag. That's the end of the level. Very short level, but it does give us an introduction to the wind mechanic. So at this point, I am going to do the next level, and I'll quickly show off the little preview icon thing to further my point, and then we'll move into the final stuff. So you see how she was sliding in that preview icon, and now we are on a sliding level. So that's how that works. So I'm wondering if, being this is going to be all one stage, and even in the final version, you know, like the second build that I've watched from the backers that have the second build, there seems to be no differences to this slide. I'm wondering if like that little preview loading thing is always going to preview the level. So as you can see, this is a basic slide level. There's probably going to be extra obstacles added in the future, but you know, you slide down the thing, you can speed up like there to avoid stuff, or you can slow down to be slower than things so that you can jump backwards over them. Very simple stuff, and then every so often there's a zip line with an enemy chucking things at you. Again, I imagine that in the final version this is probably going to be a lot harder. I mean, I'm sucking right now, so maybe I shouldn't ask for it to be harder. But, you know, in the final version, I imagine this will be a lot harder, and there'll be a lot more zip lines to grapple onto, if you will. You know, there'll be a lot more of these guys chucking things, not just the one guy throwing one fish, disappearing, and then the next one guy throwing the single fish I accidentally forgot to jump. Well, there you go. So that's pretty much the entire demo. I'm just going to open up. Apparently my laptop is frozen. I was going to say I was just going to open up my laptop and have a look at the little backer things. 1 second, let me just pause this recording for a second. Okay, I'm back. So, I have now got the thing up on my laptop. I'm going to have to multitask here. But I have got the Kickstarter backer things up for stuff that we have not yet seen, which apparently is in the final version, as this is just a demo with Shantae herself. But £500,000 or dollar goal was met, and that is risky mode. Play as risky with her own story and abilities. So I imagine that's like Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories, Reverse Rebirth, where you can play as Riku, but you know, we're playing as Risky in her own story, and she's got her own powers, which I imagine is just Pirate's Curse powers. Like, she's got Risky's boots, Risky's hat, because you know, they belong to her. So it'll probably work much like Pirate's Curse in terms of actual playment. Then we have the 600k mark, which was also funded, which is a sequence of unfortunate events, which is new mystery, new location, additional chapter, and transformation. Then we have costume swap, which I believe is going to be the Genie mode of this game, because it says replay the adventure with rebalanced stats and special moves. So that's the end of the demo there. I'm just going to have to, like, pause, maybe bring up a picture of Shantae or something, because that's the absolute end and there's nothing else to show off. But yes, so there is costume swap, which is replay the adventure with rebalanced stats and special moves. So obviously, like, Genie mode or Pirate mode in the last version was where you played with special moves, like you had all of the powers unlocked from the get-go, or Genie mode where your stats were rebalanced to do massive magical damage but take double damage. So I guess costume swap is going to be our Genie mode. Then there is the 800 grand mark, which was Fire and Forget, new chapter, new mystery, new location, additional chapter and transformation. So we don't know what that is, but obviously it's like an extra bonus chapter once more. And again, new transformations. Then we have Hero Mode, which is basically like Risky Boots, but this time we've got the whole cast, which is play as Rotty Tops, Bollo, and Sky with their own stories and abilities. So we're pretty much going to have like a full Binding of Isaac cast here to play as. You know, we've got Shantae, which is basically our Isaac, basically balanced across the board. We're going to have our Risky Boots, which I'm probably going to imagine is our Judas, lower health, but does incredible damage with her sword, etc. We're going to have Rotty Tops, which I imagine being a zombie and undead is going to be our Maggie of the group, which is going to have a lot more HP, a lot more defense, but can't hit for crap. Then we're going to have Bolo, which is like our higher damage, but not too bad Kane type guy, which has got a bit of luck. And then we're going to have Sky, who I imagine is just going to be like, I'm not going to say she's going to be completely awful, but she's going to be like our blue baby of the group that's going to run entirely on like Spirit Hearts or something. Like, I imagine Sky's going to be the one that has the special condition about her. So we'll probably be having to play the game 5 times. That's amazing. Like, 5 times with every, or 5 run-throughs with different characters. That's pretty good. And then we get into the ones, we get into the one that's argued with, because the funding goal was 1 million, and it did not reach the £1 million funding goal, but from the information that I am seeing here, even though it didn't actually reach the 1 million on Kickstarter, like other Kickstarters like Ukulele, Platonic, and Igor's Bloodstained, they did accept donations after the Kickstarter closed. So the people that donated won't get the Kickstarter rewards, but the donations still count to the total, and it did knock it over this goal. So while it says that this goal was not met via Kickstarter, apparently it got just enough donations at the end to make this goal happen, which is a dish served cold. That is the return of Nega Shantae and additional chapter and transformation. Now, obviously, this is an argued point. Some are saying it did, some say it didn't. Way forward, I would very much like for you to confirm that it did, because that would be awesome. I would love to see Nega Shantae again. I know a few other people would, and I hope that the argument is indeed true, and the donations that you got after the Kickstarter did indeed make that £1 million goal hit its goal, and we do get Nega Shantae, because I would like to see that come back. Then the ones that obviously never got kickstarted, like they did not reach their goal and the additional donations did not hit that, was voices, fully voiced acting for all models. We didn't get that. That's unfortunate. Clockwork Knight, which was risky reform, new locations, new threats, additional chapters, that didn't get funded. And animated cutscenes, high TV quality, fully animated cutscenes with voiceovers and music for all cutscenes. That, of course, also did not get kickstarted. However, way forward, if you are watching this, I would very much like for you to do a fully animated, fully voiced, fully musicked cutscene for the beginning cutscene and the final cutscene, as I understand that the goal of 1.3 million is a lot for people to invest into you. But if you do a fully animated one for the beginning and the end, nothing in between, but just the beginning and the end, and show off the fully animated, fully voiced cutscenes, it would make people more inclined to back that in the future. So if you do make a 5th part to Shantae, and the next, I mean, I don't know, this could be the end of the series, I mean, not to be morbid, and this is probably not going to happen, but Shantae could die at the end of Half Genie Hero, and then there's no more Shantae. But if there is a 5th one, it'd be good to see the fully animated cutscenes with full voice narration, to know what we're getting into for the next Kickstarter. Then you can say, like, oh, here's a fully animated cutscene from Half Genie Hero. Would you back this for all scenes? And then people would be like, yeah, because we've seen what you can do. So maybe for the beginning and the end cutscene, have them fully voiced. But again, I suppose we'll see that in the final version. And that's about it. The only other thing I can say is, obviously all that stuff on the Kickstarter list, like Risky's story, Rolly Top's story, we haven't seen. The only other thing I can say before I end this is we do not know any of the other transformations, so it's fun for me to speculate right now. Like, Way Forward did do some art, which I'm going to pop on the screen. Like, here is a spider transformation, here is a Naga transformation, like the snake ladies. They look really cool. Here's a harpy one as well. They look really cool. They look damn awesome. But are they just concept arts from when you were doing your Kickstarter, or are they the additional transformations that were reached with the funded goals, like the mystery, like the 600k where it says additional chapter and transformation? Is one of those additional transformations the Naga or the spider? That'd be cool to find out. So really interested in what other transformations are in the game. Can't wait to see them. Don't know where these costumes are going to fit in. I would have liked to have maybe played a level with this Switch Force costume or this Beach Girl costume. Like, are those just additional skins? Like, hey, if you do a special task, you can unlock a Switch Force costume. It doesn't do anything, it's just vanity. Or do they actually, or is that part of the costume swap gameplay edition where you play with rebalanced stats? Like, do these costumes rebalance your stats? So I would have maybe have liked to have seen in, because this isn't in the other demo build which the backers have, I would have maybe have liked to have seen that happen in the Kickstarter or the second build, but that's okay. But that's about it. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little preview. I mean, it's about 30 minutes long now, but I hope you enjoyed this little preview of Half Genie Hero. From what I have played in this first version of the demo, I am very excited. Like, it all works, it looks great, it feels great to play. I'm excited for it. I hope I can get a review copy of this to be able to review it for all of you guys. I mean, just from the demo alone, it's already got me pretty excited, and I'm like, oh man, if I was reviewing this right now, this is like a 5 out of 5. I mean, it's not, there's a lot of problems, like a bit of janky animation and the wind thing, but this is obviously a beta build, and all that is probably going to be fixed for the final version. And obviously there's all these modes which I haven't seen yet, so I can't give it a 5 out of 5. That'd be silly. But it's a good preview. I like it, so I'm already happy and excited for it, and hopefully I can get a review copy from the lovely, brilliant people at Way Forward to be able to review it and get that review out on time for everybody. And yeah, I'm going to say right now, to any fan of the Shantae series, like Crimson Beat, who loves the series, to any fan of the Shantae series, I am going to say you are probably, definitely going to enjoy this next installment. It's good, but for now, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to show your support, then feel free to leave a like. If you enjoy all my videos and want to support me, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, as the more subscribers I have, the more recognised I will be by the big AAA companies, and maybe I won't have to sneak a couple of review copies from my friend that works at the game station. And of course, I would love to do this full time for all of you. And you know, just I bought the blue microphone as stated at the beginning of the video. That costs money, and you know, that money is from my other job, but I would love to be able to make 2, 3, 4 videos a day for you all and do this full time. So if you do feel like these videos are of the content that you want, and you do want to see more of them, then you can always, you don't have to, these videos are always going to go up, they're always going to be free, but if you are in a generous mood, you can always donate to my Patreon to support my cause and just go that extra mile. But I'm not going to beg, I'm just going to say all of these will be free for your enjoyment, but it would help if I could do this full time and really entertain all of you guys, because I love to make you all smile. I love to bring a smile to your faces. Anyway, I mean, I'm smiling right now because of this this preview. It's got me hyped. It's got me a little bit, you know, I don't usually like to get on the hype train, but I'm riding the train a little bit, just a little bit right now. Not like right at the front of the engine, choo-choo, like the crazy hype people, but I'm definitely sitting in the very last car right at the back, like, oh, maybe I should just take a little ride on the hype train. I'm Very excited for this, as I'm sure all Shantae fans will be once it comes out. So, good stuff. I'm going to end it now. So thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video.